Holochain delivers the promise of blockchain with a mashup of proven tech that delivers self-owned data, distributed database, and peer accountability. Get started with Holochain today. It's an end-to-end open source P2P app framework. So, welcome back. This is BigBlackCrypto, and I just wanted to highlight the revamped website. It looks fantastic. I absolutely adore the vibrance and the appeal. It's something that really draws you in as a user, a consumer, and an investor. And for someone who wants to innovate, it has the appeal off the bat. So here they say, why Holochain? Because the world needs an upgrade. Holochain helps by creating an alternative to the dominant centralized systems of the internet, protecting our ability to make our own choices and giving trustworthy information we can act on. We call this digital agency, and we believe it will give us the power to face today's complex problems together. So if you want, you can go ahead and check out the about. And let's see. Lightweight, secure, versatile, made for everyday apps. BitTorrent, get cryptographic signatures. How it works? Here they say it's secure and resilient without servers or blockchains. So 1, 2, 3 to 4. 1. You install an app which signs and stores your data on your device. 2. You share your public data with a random set of peers. 3. Your peers validate the data against the app's rules before storing it. 4. Invalid data triggers a network-wide security response. So when they have something for everybody, from app devs to blockchain devs, I like that. So here for the app devs, they say it's serverless. The community is the infrastructure. Scale with the popularity of your app. Connectable. Access other Holochain apps as they were part of your code base. No HTTP client. Just function calls with optional access control. And it's resilient. Compute and data live at the edges, which means there's no infrastructure for you to maintain and defend. Holochain automatically adapts to disruptions and threats. So there's the link for you to get started on in that area. And then as well, for blockchain devs, configurable, you choose your own terms, set privileges, governance, policies, and consensus rules according to your needs. Scalable, fast, it's cheap, and truly peer-to-peer compute and data. No processing fees or block confirmation waiting times. Also, it's forkable. Iterate to perfect. Hard forks aren't governance crises, but opportunities to play a new game. When you hear the word forkable, you should things should become of interest to you. Here they say Holochain for networked applications, building the everyday applications that power our lives. So here's a focus on collaboration for data access, transparency, accountability, user equality, and disruption tolerance. Energy grids, intelligence, and peer-to-peer, microtransactions for distributed grids. Currency design, infrastructure and libraries for reputation, mutual credit, in-game, and more. In-game and more. Well then. Also, if you want to get the most up-to-date, current, and concise information, instead of playing broken telephone from YouTube to YouTube to YouTube video, you can just get it straight from the source. I encourage you to read and research for yourself. Here, if you're looking for information about holoports, hosting, or holofuel, go to Holo. It's literally, this is where you want to get the information if you're tired of playing broken telephone, because I guarantee you, out of a lot of the companies that you'll come across, they've been the most consistent in terms of the delivery of their message. You can trawl back from 2020 to 2019 to 2018. Where there's confusion, it's often where we try to make an interpretation of something that's just straight up clear. And once you understand it, it makes sense. There's no issues or questions about holofuel and how hot will swap for hot fuel. It's like, or sorry, hollow fuel. There's no misgivings there. So yeah, that's the new website. Again, go give it a look. I'm enjoying it. Here they say, for the projects, Holochain represents a new concept in software architecture and provides unique qualities that neither Web 2.0 nor blockchain offer. Remember, that patent means something. They touch on data ownership, so Health Commons Connect, no matter how much information you have, it may be worthless if you can't join the dots to find a path forward. You can watch more on there on YouTube. RedGrid, I like them as well. The Internet of Energy, IoE, is a software protocol that can be integrated into devices that produce, consume, or store electricity. You can check that link there. Also, Junto, another project worth highlighting. Junto is a new breed of social media designed to inspire authenticity and enable expression in its purest form. Now, when we touch on use cases, again, you don't have to play broken telephone. You can come right to holochain.org and get the information here. Holochain is designed to address the original vision of the internet, creation of an anti-fragile and secure peer-to-peer computing system. Unlike client-server apps, distributed apps allow individuals to communicate directly with one another. The architecture of Holochain mimics living systems in an attempt to reach a greater level of collective coordination, scalability, and resilience as compared to existing systems which are designed around multiple single points of failure. So, here's some of the key areas that they're focusing on: energy, distributed intelligence, and peer-to-peer microtransactions for distributed grids. Ooh, I like it. Examples: local marketplaces, device coordination, mini grid balancing, network storage management, device coordination. Well then, you got to think about, you're not ready for that. But lo-fi is something to consider. Teehee. Can't give it all. Can't give it to y'all. But if you watch any of my other videos, I touch on it in regards to the economy of things and distributed ledger technologies being further integrated into our societies. So, something to consider. This is why I'm here, and I appreciate DocuSign taking an active interest in the developing community here to integrate some of DocuSign's focus in the DeFi space, because it's completely doable. Now, benefit lightweight. Holochain requires lightweight. Holochain requires very little computing power. Its robust validation abilities. Holochain provides validation at the local level with a high level of confidence for confirmation of real generation of power supply for power to the grid, and validation of payments for that power. Fault tolerant for inconsistent connectivity. In remote locations, Holochain operates seamlessly without a connection to the internet, updating itself and the network whenever a connection is available, with the ability to resolve divergences. Private. Authors of data can maintain their privacy. Holochain dApps give users control over their data by default. It's also interoperable and service provider agnostic. Individuals can maintain the ability to change from one electricity buyer to another if the terms are more favorable. I like that. Let's take a look into currencies. Currencies, infrastructure and libraries for reputation, neutral credit, in-game, and more. Examples: in-game currency, community credit, reputation, barter networks, loyalty points, system indicators. Benefits: control of currency domain. Designers of currency create their own rules for the use of their currency. Example given: who can use it, under what circumstances, monetary supply, etc. Built-in sovereign identity. Participants retain full control of their identity data, and all data stays within the community. Immune systems-based security. Agent centricity means a paradigm of peer enforcement and self-regulation rather than hacker-proof smart contracts. No honeypot. A distributed database means there is no central authority to hack to drain funds, and no central list of user credentials. This architecture diminishes the payoff of hacking the system and reduces the potential damage incurred by any breach. I think that will be something every exchange comes to appreciate. That's how Holochain, that's the potential I see for Holochain. It is so vast. It is I'm early, and I'm appreciative of that as well. Fast transactions. Transactions are validated locally so people can transact immediately, even in remote or slow bandwidth environments. Zero fees. In contrast to blockchain, the network charges no processing fees. Compatible with browsers. For individuals who do not want to install Holochain, apps can be accessed through a regular browser URL. Social impact. Hold on, let's just go back to that. Jeez. And remember, they're creating their own ecosystem. So for you to innovate and to participate, there's a lot of room. There's a lot of room as people start to cloud host as well. So don't sleep on these opportunities. Now here is for social impact, fair data use, system control, equality, and ability to operate even with low internet connectivity. This was one of the reasons why they chose to take a step back and redo the code in Rust, because getting a lighter meant you'd have access to an entire lo-fi network. I don't think people really get that. I don't think they get that. You know, with micro payment like processing or data transacting those micro interactions, for example. Holo's able to do it in at 1 trillion per second. It's important to understand that. So again, social impact, fair data use, system control, equality, and ability to operate even with low internet connectivity. Examples: connect local production to international markets, carbon credit, mobile banking, disaster response coordination, community self-organization, sharing verifiable information. Do you know how many markets that will place you if you and your team, that no matter who in the developing community, decides to work with DocuSign, look at where you just placed yourself. In order to send somebody the wallet a monetary sum during a disaster response coordination, there's going to be a sign off on it, no? And you'd be able to do it from in-app. I've received my funds. This is who I am. Because you've two-factor authenticated your stuff. We now know who you are. We can make sure you get what you need. But people, when they get to understand where these opportunities really lie, you'll start to see a lot more green candles. But again, before I digress, here are the benefits. Remote resilience. Communities can create local networks and apps can function in isolation even when there's limited or non-existent internet connectivity. So you might want to consider that for, oh my goodness, let's just power through. Censorship proof yet accountable. Immutable cryptographically signed records ensure the reliability and authorship of recorded data. Built-in privacy and self-sovereign identity. Participants retain full control of their identity data and all data stays within the community. Interoperable. Local apps can be designed for interoperability with international organizations, nonprofits, and marketplaces. Local hosting. Data can be hosted on participants' devices with automatic peer backup. Potential income stream. Holochain can work with Holoports as a substitute for cloud hosting, allowing local communities to earn income as cloud providers. Easy module add-on. Easy to start with one small application and add additional modules that interoperate seamlessly. Network expansion and grid creation. People don't really perceive that. If they know that there's a grid within their range, if you live in a very densely populated urban hub that has access to such tech, and suddenly you're hosting your own grid as opposed to just being one holoport, imagine what that does for the community at large. Like, that's what's beautiful about that. And then we've got local economies. So new local solutions for, local economies, new local solutions for economic, local economies, new local solutions for economic, environmental, and social challenges. Reading further, the examples that they highlight: car and goods sharing, time banks, local business directories, community currencies, event and community activities, lobbying and activism. Now, car and goods shares is one I kind of touched on in terms of Holochain's integration within the automotive sector. I think it was something that, again, might have gone over people's heads, because if I say VeChain and the automotive sector in China with support, minimal competition, it doesn't register. Those who have been in the crypto space, that'll register. They get that. That's why they're here. Because if you want to move an economy forward, you got to let people know that you can't have traffic, you can't have congestion. Sooner than later, what you will see is, with a lot of these smart cars, so to speak, is the ability to see traffic up ahead in similar fashion to what Waze does, but better. And when there is an actual traffic or accident, you're not going to have people really just like slowing down, because nobody's going to be stargazing at whatever happened. But those are just opportunities to keep an economy moving forward. But then when you think about car and goods sharing, now imagine you want to rent out your car. Whoever makes that app, that Uber style app, but instead it's now it just makes, it puts you in the opportunity to earn that money. Yeah, go ahead, use my car. This is the app for it. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. Now you can earn like Zipcard. But it doesn't register because we're so used to dealing in absolutes. Is it there, or how long till it's there? And it's just a matter of people creating these opportunities for themselves, but they recognize that people are here. They're waiting. Remember, Microsoft is thinking about making a car. DocuSign has been working with Microsoft since 2014. Right around the time that Goldman Sachs filed the first cryptocurrency patent for Settle coin, SETL. So that might seem like a wild abstraction, but again, I know where I'm going with this. Here's a video from Paul Diaz. I'm going to play the first minute, but I want you to go to YouTube.
Hello, my name is Paul, and I work with the Holochain project, where my job is to figure out how to explain Holochain to the world.
Subscribe and like.
How it works and why you should care. Sometimes it feels like a big job, like I'm being asked to describe reality in one paragraph and give at least 3 examples. Not that I think that Holochain equals reality or anything, but reality and Holochain are both kind of complex. Not complicated, which is kind of a bad word in engineering, but just that the level of complexity is appropriate to the problem at hand. And maybe that's the best place to start. What problem is Holochain actually trying to solve? Generally, it's the same problem that everyone in the DWeb space is trying to solve. Concentration of power, which leads to loss of human agency, which leads to all sorts of other nasties. Everything from my internet is down and I can't access my reports now, to a major democratic nation just got hacked by social media and now it's throwing 500 errors. But when you take the big organization out of the middle, it gets a bit messy. With no police force, there's no way to tell who or what can be trusted. And infrastructure can break down too, and there's nobody to fix it. These are serious usability problems, and the centralized world has largely figured them out, for better or for worse. Centralization means maintainability and simplicity for engineers and
And that's where we're going to leave off.